Well, in the little village, a little village inn, Freighter and CJ have taken refuge in an inn. The same one that got barricaded earlier. And by this time, the villagers are way too busy with other things to notice. Well, Freighter, we escaped that cave. That's pretty good stuff. No, yeah, man. Oh boy, innkeeper gave me some Mountain Dew. That's good. Oh man. Uh, Curly Joe, how many times have you been kidnapped so far this season? A lot. Yeah, lots and lots. Yeah. Well, you're developing the character model of the guy who gets the guy or the character who always gets kidnapped. I really shouldn't add a gender pronoun to that because really they're that it could be anybody. Yeah, you're always the one who gets kidnapped. So you become the MacGuffin. I'm not a McMuffin. I'm a Curly Joe. No, Curly Joe. I can explain it. You're a MacGuffin. I'm a Curly Joe. I'm not a McMuffin or a Mc. What is that? The McGriddle? Remember that? Oh, 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 oh! I think I hit a happy spot. No, McGriddle. Oh, the fat man in me is just dancing when I hear the word McGriddle. Oh, but I'm sure now that what those sandwiches probably cost what, like $10 nowadays or something. Like the price of McDonald's is like insane. Yeah, what is up with that, man? Wasn't there a time when like stuff was really cheap? Yeah, well, they took advantage of the inflation issue, and they were like, "No, we can't afford it anymore. Crank the price up." They crank it up a little too high. And then there, and then you got Wendy's and their surge pricing and stuff. That's so stupid. Aren't we like a year ahead? So probably when we lose, well, usually when we record these, it's like a year before. So probably the McGriddle really is a $10 sandwich by now. I think by now, folks, I think you get the point that um, if McDonald's is going to be this high, you might as well go to the higher end burger joints and stuff and get something high end. Um, because that food was, look, I'll say it, McDonald's is good. I know a lot of people say, it's terrible. Yeah, you wouldn't want to eat there every day. It's terrible for your diet. But if you're traveling and stuff, I mean, you just need something to eat. It's good. I mean, it's fairly consistent. I mean, it's rare when they screw up. Well, although it depends on where you live. Um, but for the most case, it's a very consistent. I mean, your sandwich is not going to be all of a sudden one day really big and one day really small. It's going to be fairly consistent. I mean, I've had pizza places where a lot of times with pizza places, you don't want to talk about food. Hey, well, this is great. It's a great way. Well, there's not a lot of stuff content written for the show today, so Mr. Pennypacker kind of messaged me. He said, "Well, there's not a lot written. You might want to find ways to kind of extend out the conversations and beyond the storyline." So I was like, "Yeah, I could do that." Yeah, and food is a good conversation. Like pizza, I live in an area where you can have 20 minutes away in each direction. You can have a whole list of pizza places. That's growing up, sometimes you were stuck with about maybe one or two places. Some places maybe none. As crazy as that sounds, I mean, there's some really, especially United States, so you could be just out in the middle of nowhere, and all you have for Friday and Saturday meal is Subway. It sucks. Well, that's true. What are you gonna say about the pizza? I love pizza. Well, some pizza places when you first go there, they'll really make your pizza really nice. They're really trying to impress you because they want a new regular. But it depends on the place. Like there was a pizza place me and my dad went to, and I really never stated that this character had a dad before, but oh, whoops. Wow, do you mention breaking fourth wall? It's something we do a lot here because it's like Pennypacker said, we don't have a oh man. We're a hobby. We don't really have an audience much. So we can kind of do whatever we want and say whatever we want as long as it doesn't break terms of service. So, sometimes you will find there will be a pizza place in your city or urban area that's just opened up. So they're going to try to impress you. And so the first time, I remember having this pizza and I thought it was like 5 stars. It was like absolutely great. It had herbs and stuff. And that's the thing is too, like people talk about good pizza. Herbs will do everything. It's basically it's everything. You're gonna say something else, but I think you kind of fall about the term service. I'll let you know. You'd think that we get notices from YouTube. Oh, you can't say this, you can't say that. They don't say anything actually. It's because we're not monetized. That's the secret of living on YouTube. You know what the secret is? Don't monetize your channel. Make your money out from something else in your life. Don't make money from this. Just have this be a fun hobby because you enjoy making content, which is about 99% not the population. 99% come on here because they want to make money. I want to quit my job. I'm sick of bagging groceries or washing dishes on Saturday night. Well, okay. No, all right. I mean, okay. That's you just don't become a locale. I mean, Mr. Pennypack was talking about that last episode. That was some good talk. Well, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a good conversation, Curly Joe. It's weird. I never thought we would be kind of paired together. Aren't you supposed to be bad or something, like a villain? Or I think I'm supposed to be. I think you might have, there everyone was saying you had some kind of mental breakdown or something. Or something like you're like the sixth doctor or something. I don't know what you're talking about, sir, but yeah, yeah, I guess I can be still bad, I guess. But yeah, Curly Joe, that yeah, but a lot of times what happens with the pizza places is that that first pizza will be the most amazing thing you ever ate ever, and then next week a different cook has it, and it's just like a 3-star generic pizza with no herbs or anything. And after that happened, I kind of was like, you know what, I probably won't be going back to this place because I think I went back one more time and it was still like kind of generic, and it was like, and then that kind of burned me the wrong way because the first time it's like whoever the cook was like really trying to like win me over. They were like trying to give you samples of food, and it was like, "Geez, man, this is great. This place is gonna really knock it out." But and then the next week it was like all generic, and I was like, no. Is this? I hate to say this. What is this, a video game show? Sometimes not really. I just broke something that I feel like in the past a part of me would have said, "No, it's a video game show." And it's like I I don't know what it is. I feel like telling the truth, and sometimes it just isn't. I'm starting to think that the gaming industry's running out of ideas. Well, it's not the AAA companies used to kind of stronghold this, not anymore. It's mostly like independent people, and there could be a game that comes out next month I never even heard of, and I'm like, oh, whoa, that's ambitious, and it's like, wow, finally somebody gets it. wait a minute. Yeah, Bad Freighter. What? What is it? Oh no! Abbott's showed up and he's dragging Kojak. Oh dear! I'll get the door and. Abbott, what's going? Oh, it's Deb. We had a helicopter chasing us. A helicopter? Well, that's something different. Really used to lightsaber fights or wrestling matches and on this Saturn Ground production. It's not helicopter chases. That's new territory. Oh, yeah, he's really hot. I think your voice got screwed up there. You don't sound like you're turning into Peter Graves or something. I miss him. Uh, I'm sure he'll be back someday, Freight. But right now, we just got to get Kojak back to normal here. The innkeeper's showing up, and he seems to be a nice guy. I think. Well, I wouldn't trust anyone in this village. They're pretty crazy. Um, yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll take him to the bed. You know. Meanwhile, back at the cave, Magistrum is trying to make plans. Well, what I need to do is plan to negotiate with Balgoda, with for control, and and uh, and then that all areas. Are you still around? You're kind of lame. I miss the other guys. They used to just play games all the time. You're kind of boring. What do you want? Well, what I'm talking about is control of this world. And, well, I got the power. I could give it to you, but I think there's somebody else that could do it better. What are you talking about? What do you mean I'm not the one? Well, I think there is another one. I think that Abbott guy, Curly Joe mentioned him. I think he'd be a nice, sweet, decent guy to be the world emperor. I think I'm going to bestow that power to him. Oh no! No, no. Well, if he comes here, we can debate it, okay? So shut your mouth and go sit down, and those guys are going to play a video game, okay? Apparently, Kojak is knocked out. I'm trying to do what I can here. Um, we're trying to, you know, play these games and try to do the best we can under the circumstances. Um, well, uh, play this wrestling game. I mean, it's kind of hard without Kojak because he seems to have a thorough knowledge of these games. Is the game going to actually play? I mean, was I just sitting at the menu screen for a long time or something? Well, nonetheless, eventually, it'll play. I'm gonna mostly be doing filler commentary a little bit because, well, you'll kind of notice that we have sort of a dilemma. We sometimes have no choice but to we have no choice sometimes. We have to um what was he going to say? Well, basically we have no choice. We have to actually um you know have to mute audio when there's copyrighted issues. Like there is a way to do it. You can just you can basically cut out all the entrances and stuff. And that's cool. I mean, you can actually do that. That that's really great. Um, but that's not always, that doesn't always work. So, uh, I know that, uh, we, so I'll do kind of talk the best I can. I'm going to be kind of nondescript about what's going on the video because, well, it's I don't know if the audio will match well with what's going on in the video. Of course, uh, you know, that's what we got to do. Maybe, I got a message here from Pennypacker. He says, well, he could just like put our different audio in or something. The problem is if these things were mute, this wouldn't be an issue. But it's the WWE. You don't know what they just will strike your video. They'll say it's a copyright issue or whatever, and that's the way it is. So yeah, the little intro here, and now I'll just go ahead and give Mr. Pennypack his advice, and just use some filler. We've been very busy, so some projects, kind of get pushed aside and stuff. So, well, we'll see you next time. Uh, we we have different audio and stuff we could play to make it kind of entertaining and stuff. Here we go. Oh, it's Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Okay. We're testing out a lot of the rings and stuff. I get you understand. Of course, this is very past tense because we've already essentially recorded this. When this game came out. So, of course, I understand. We also bought this game when it was it was before the official release. It was one of those kinds of things where they give you a few days to play the game before it officially comes out. And that was a disaster because it wiped out everyone's saves. Oh, that caused some hatred. Oh, that caused some bad blood, And as you could kind of see, it's not that we were like, oh, let's see how John Cena from when the time he debuted would handle Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. No, actually, the reason we're doing this is because we are randomly picking people, and just kind of, I think we did this one year. We just did that. Oh, you can see, I decided to be a heel and stuff. That, oh, I'm getting kind of blip blip. So yeah, so we're kind of. You started to talk like Mr. Pennypacker in a way. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I need to get my tongue untied there. Yeah, John Cena's getting mad. Oh, that can happen, but what we were doing is we're just like trying different arenas and stuff, and I'm not entirely sure. I think this is the arena you can go into the crowd, but again, we didn't even know you could do that. We found that out. We're gonna go out by the apron here. I understand we'd even. I don't. You know what I can understand is you need to understand. At the time we were recording this, this is before patches were coming out, and um, we we couldn't even you couldn't. I don't think you could throw the ladder and tables. You could throw everything else, but you couldn't throw that, and now you can, and that's like it's like really really cool. Well, that I would be, yes. So you know, we did. Way I found out you can go into the crowd. It's specific. It has to be very specific. Like I think you have to be in the what they call is the inside. Uh, I'm trying to say it right. It's like the indoor arena one, I think, and what it is, they'll have a crowd box, and you can go back there, and there's some weapons and stuff, and then you could also fight back behind the crowd and stuff. It's kind of cool. So it'd be really good for falls count anywhere matches. But the thing too you can do is you can bap. So you can but here's the thing is I've tested this and it doesn't work in all it doesn't going in the crowd doesn't always work sometimes. It only works on one-on-one matches. So you can have any kind of stipulation as long as it's one-on-one. It doesn't matter. It's Iron Man, it doesn't matter. I mean, maybe I should test it more thoroughly, to be too entirely sure, but I don't know in Hell in a Cell and stuff if it'll let you do that if you do it in this arena. But understand if you try to do it with tag team matches, it doesn't work. If you try to do it with anything more than one-on-one, it won't let you go in the crowd, which was really disappointing because we wanted because if you try to do an ECW thing, you can't do it because they just won't let you. Well, the problem with these games is aren't they kind of naturally known to be kind of like known to break and they're terrible. They have a reputation. Ukes, Ukes was never a perfect company, and I'll let I know a lot of people go, oh, they went on to do AEW, and it's like you need to understand. Even they've finally come out and finally said that AEW management over Tony Khan and all those people. Oh, that was amazing. Had a nice splittered Singapore cane and just blew up on him. That was great. So I guess this is the hardcore match or Extreme Rules or something. Um, so what was I going to say? You were going to say about Tony Khan, AEW, and well, Ukes went to do AEW. Then you'll notice that they were basically making an Aki game, and it was like no one had. I mean, people have had sort of teased sort of mechanics of that. Even these games have. They got some mechanics of that. And but but for the most part, no one's tried to bring back entirely the stuff of those games. But that game was supposed to be kind of the one to do it. But the problem is the company just wanted to throw some. They just wanted the game out there to promote their product. They didn't want they didn't care enough to go to that level. They were half-assed. Their booking is half-assed. Everything about that company is half-assed. I mean, they're just as trash as WCW was. So, so they were just as trash as WCW was, and that's kind of it. Nice chop there, another chop. So they basically they needed more time to work on the game, and guess what? That didn't happen, and it's not letting me jump off. Okay, it's funny because sometimes you think, oh, I got this idea in my head, and then the game's kind of like, what? What? Wait, what are you trying to do? Like what? It just doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work. It's Yeah. I don't know what happened right there. That's interesting. That was sort of like I ran into the ladder, or kind of like the game got confused. You don't understand. We were playing this when it just came out. Okay, so this was in times it was crashing for the most basic things, and it was not easy, But unfortunately, what I can remember of this playthrough is this was done. Mr. Pennypacker mentioned this. He said that it was done. Um, it was done over like 5 hours, 5, 6, 7 hours, and so as a result, we got a lot of footage, well, maybe not to the level of that, but it was a lot. It was a lot of time, and fortunately, it didn't crash during that time. But I'm gonna be honest with you. You won't see this so much in my current games because and I realize, the the trading the punches thing. That's a big WWE thing, and has been now for about over a decade now. Kind of started with like Cena and The Rock. I think that's when they first started to do it, or it actually might even go back to the 2000s. But um, where the crowd would boo, and then another person they go yay, and then they boo, and then the yay, and the boo, and the yay, and stuff. And um, I really just don't. It's kind of annoying. It's an annoying little mini game, and you can actually turn it off, and I just turned it off. Because I was losing all of them, and so that doesn't really help you. And we won the match. It's like I said, the past games we were never good at. It was getting frustrating, and we kind of felt like alienated from it because it was like, man, they would give you all the legends you ever wanted, but like, oh geez, but so that's the way it is, as Mr. Pennypacker said so. So the next match is the backstage brawl. Apparently, there's other arenas. I don't know. I mean, interesting thing is it does actually mention custom, so maybe you can make a custom backstage. That would be kind of cool. But I actually miss the days of when you can, in the early SmackDown games, you could actually, like, when they came to PlayStation 2, you can actually just go back there. You could actually go to the entrance way. There would be arrows indicating where you can leave the arena. And you could go backstage and the count would stop and it would turn into, like, it was great. like I said, uh we've now you'll notice this like platform here in the middle. I wasn't aware of it, but there was a during the certain event of 2020 to 2021. Uh, that COVID, because I don't want that little, because Mr. Pennypacker will kill us if he wakes up and finds the video now has one of those Wikipedia article things fact checking us because we mentioned something, because the computer says, "Uh-oh, someone said that didn't happen, that it's a conspiracy." No, no, we're not. Stupid computer. It's because and then I don't know. Sometimes the computer's bad, but the people run the site are pretty social justice warrior progressive. So okay, so so during that time, I think they were really sort of losing it as far as what pro wrestling was because pro wrestling is very dependent on a crowd. And I think what it was is they were getting tired of spending money on those like TV screens they had for all the people to be in the crowd. And I think Vince was getting sick of that. So they did this thing called Raw Underground. Wasn't even aware of it because I wasn't watching wrestling. I think the last thing I had watched during that timeline was AEW when they were doing the Broken Matt Hardy story, which was kind of like okay, it wasn't all that great actually. Big surprise, that AEW wouldn't have a really good story because it's just kind of weak. But so there's kind of a way to fall into that big spotlight thing, but I'm not really sure how do you go about to do that. Jake's strikes are the best in this game, in my opinion, because they're fast jabs, and as a result, if someone does like a big over haymaker towards you, you're going to connect with them, and that'll kind of stun lock them. So in a way, Jake might be the best to have because of those quick little punches. Um, so yeah, so they did Raw Underground, and it was like you see there that was all the wrestlers, it would be like Fight Club, and all the wrestlers would be around that, like a lumberjack type thing, and then two guys would be in the middle there wrestling and stuff. It was really stupid. I didn't even know about it until I watched somebody's video about that time and stuff, and fortunately that finally all ended. I mean, for crying out loud, I mean they had a Thunderdome, they had their own arena. I mean that's locked down as you can get. Just test everyone and make sure they're not sick or something before coming in or something. I don't know. It was Vince McMahon at the time. Vince McMahon, the last years of Vince it's not been good. Like his senility was really showing. He was forgetting about who's wrestled who, and it was just becoming like match after match after match, and he just didn't have that control. But he's so obsessed about his product to have control over it. Oh, that's so we're going to take a little tour here and see what we're capable of doing here. This is all pretty cool here. Well, that's it for the show right now. We need to take a break, and you could keep watching the footage. There's plenty more footage to go, and we'll see you next show.